I'm going to start this one out with a reading from the Clash of Kings audiobook. This is from the last chapter. It's a brand chapter, and it begins from the perspective of Summer.
He sniffed at the drifting smoke. Men. Many men. Many horses. And fire. 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 No smell was more dangerous. Not even the hard, cold smell of iron. The stuff of man claws and hard skin. The smoke and ash clouded his eyes, and in the sky he saw a great winged snake, whose roar was a river of flame. He bared his teeth, but then the snake was gone. Behind the cliffs, tall fires...
Wait, what? And in the sky he saw a great winged snake, whose roar was a river of flame. Holy shit, that's a dragon. I'm reading through the currently available A Song of Ice and Fire novels for the third time at the moment, and what makes these books so great is that the depth of the story and its details is such that on every subsequent reread there's always new stuff to pick up on that you missed first, second, or even third time round. All kinds of details that escape you when you're first trying to keep up with the main narrative are clearer to you once you're more familiar with the story, but on my second read through I came across something in the last chapter of A Clash of Kings that I was shocked to realise I hadn't picked up on at first calling. George R.R. Martin's writing is awe-striking, and the majesty of some of the lines he writes stick around in your head for a long time. From Varys' riddle to Wherever Horse Go to Hodor, there are some truly memorable pieces of rhetoric to be found in these books, but no one line from the series has bugged me as much as this one. In the sky he saw a great winged snake whose roar was a river of flame. Now, I don't really go in for the really wacky theories, and it seems pretty obvious that of course there wasn't a dragon at Winterfell. But if that's not a dragon, I don't know what is. A great winged snake whose roar was a river of flame. It can't be a dragon though, can it? Well, hang on. Let's think. This is what a snake looks like. This is what a winged snake looks like. This is what a winged snake whose roar was a river of flame looks like. Now this is what a dragon looks like. Oh. Right, so here's where I stand with this. While the idea of a dragon at Winterfell seems crackpot, that description is so dragon-like that I think the default position has to be that Summer is seeing a dragon here. It is exactly how you would expect a direwolf to describe a dragon. So in that case the onus is on us to disprove the dragon at Winterfell theory. So let's have a look at the evidence suggesting that everything is not as it seems, and that this isn't an actual dragon. Objection number one is that the dragons are all dead, right? Well, Daenerys has three. But unlike Show Dany at this point,
where are my dragons?
We know where they are. Essos, not Winterfell. But are Drogon, Rhaegal and Viserion the only living dragons in the world at this point? Well, we are told over and over again that the dragons all died out around 150 years ago. But that's just the Targaryen dragons we're talking about. It is possible that some dragons survived the doom of Valyria and remain in the far eastern reaches of Essos. Perhaps I'll go into the possibility of surviving dragons in Essos in a future video, but for the purposes of this discussion that is likely irrelevant, as if a dragon had made the trip from Essos to Winterfell recently, someone would surely have noticed. If we're going to try and prove that there was a dragon at Winterfell, it has to have been in Westeros for a long time. But as far as we know, there are no dragons in Westeros currently, which is a pretty killer blow to the dragon sighting at Winterfell theory. But even if we were to assume that there was somehow a dragon lurking about somewhere undiscovered for nigh on 2 centuries, the strongest piece of evidence to suggest that there wasn't a dragon at Winterfell is that we've had 3 big books follow this event, and not one person has mentioned seeing a dragon at any point. Surely if Summer really did see a dragon at Winterfell, the moment this chapter cuts from Summer's perspective to Bran's, the very first thing he would say is, "Guys, I've just seen a fucking dragon." But no, when Bran reports what he saw to Mira and the gang, he makes no mention of a dragon. And subsequently in future chapters throughout the books, nobody who was near Winterfell at the time ever says, "Hey, remember the other day when that dragon was flying about?" And nobody ever sees a great winged snake in the sky again for the rest of the novel so far. So unfortunately it seems that our great winged snake whose roar was a river of flame was not actually a dragon. However, convincingly my artwork appeared to demonstrate the contrary. So if not a dragon, what was it? Just a streamer of smoke in a snake-like shape? Was Summer just trying to be a bit poetic with his description of the surroundings? I have no idea. That's what makes this thing stick around for me. The one thing that stops me from discarding the whole idea straight away. If not a dragon, what the fuck was it? Nah, I give up. I guess we'll just have to chalk this one up to Summer being a shitty wordsmith. And so, despite my best efforts, I sadly can't bring myself to believe that this great winged snake really was the dragon that it seems to be, as much as I'd like to. The logical obstacles to overcome are just too great. Oh, but before we end this, here's one last thing to think on. Later on in the very same chapter where we hear of this great winged snake, Osha says that the crew had made enough noise to wake a dragon. As always, I shall provide a list of links in the description for other content online on this topic, and general link to some great A Song of Ice and Fire related YouTube channels. Thanks for watching, and hopefully you'll be back for my future videos, which I will try to do on slightly less crazy topics for a bit. I have some ideas floating about for a couple of short videos on the last words of Robb Stark and Hoster Tully, as well as a more extensive video on Jack and Hagar. If you want to make sure you catch them when they're done, maybe hit the subscribe button. Please feel free to leave a comment on this video with any questions or feedback, positive or negative. Cheers.
He sniffed at the drifting smoke. Men. Many men.
We need some more girls in here, there's too many men, too many women, too many men, too many